So by now, I'm sure you guys have all have heard of the different trade shows out for the apparel industry, but if you haven't, here's a few that you should probably consider attending or exhibiting at. But before you go and actually exhibit or attend, I want to let you guys know some of the things to look out for, be aware of, and really make the most of your time and money. All right, so some of the ones that are really popular are like Magic, another is like ASD, the other is like Agenda, then you have CES, you have all the other big ones that come in through the different towns like the sneaker cons or the dunk exchanges or any of these other apparel type of related conventions. And these events are great to showcase your brand, and it's amazing to get publicity and to get people looking at your products. And a lot of these trade shows like Magic are great to be able to source for your apparel products or your new ideas in the apparel industry, as there's manufacturers, suppliers, and all kinds of great connections that are going to help you build your brand. All right, so if you haven't already considered in attending a trade show, I definitely recommend you guys do. And there's going to be a list that I include down below. And more importantly, there's actually a video where I cover the 4 tips that I provide for you to make the most of your time there, meaning making the most of your trip and really navigating that trade show to make the most of your connections as well. That video is located on the Bella Canvas YouTube channel, which I'll link right up here. I'll actually link the video right here, and it'll also be linked down below. So just make sure to check that one out for you guys to get those tips. But in this video, what I really wanted to talk about was the experience in terms of actually going to these trade shows, what you can expect, and if you're a clothing line considering to actually pay for a booth, what you should probably know before dishing out the couple $5 to $10 to $15, $20,000, so up to hundreds of thousands of dollars for a booth at these conventions. So the story of this starts in the beginning of 2015 or so, and at the time we were making a lot of different styles of bags, and we caught the attention of a distributor that was going to showcase at the Magic convention, and they actually had a luxury line of headwear, and they did all kinds of big collaborations with artists, DJs. Wiz Khalifa was a part of their brand, and it was a big distributor, and we caught their attention. We were working out a deal to be able to distribute under their distribution channels. So they were in all over the US type of stores. Their products were in Zoomies, Tilly's, overseas, in South America, you name it. They had a pretty big presence. And to us, being like first timers in terms of, holy shit, we actually are going to close a deal with a distributor and sell our products around the world. That was probably the most exciting thing about that entire point in our lives and the point of our business. So in order to attend the show, we talked to them and we figured out, hey, they wanted us to produce about 20 different style bags. It's probably a little bit more than that. Duffel bags, laptop, phone cases, backpacks, student bags, travel bags, more utility style bags. So you name it, we created a really big assortment of it. We designed it, we collaborated with Monster Headphone Products, which is a big company that did the DNA headphones. And so we had this entire deal structured where it was going to be a home run because they were going to package it all together. They were going to sell headphones, a backpack, and a hat, and then the clothing to go with it. So it was like the ultimate deal to these big retailers. And it was a huge deal to us because you can only imagine it was our first big moment, and you always like think it's gonna be the one, like the thing that's really gonna set you off is finally around the corner. It took the first part of the year to kind of put things together in terms of how the deal was gonna be structured. And then when it was confirmed, the whole deal was confirmed in like the summer of that month. And we had about 30 days before the trade show when we were confirmed where we were gonna be at. So at that point, we had all the different designs and back-end work done, and now we actually needed to create the products. And it took us about 20 days to end up creating about 30 different physical samples. And it was 30 different styles that we designed, created, and collaborated on. And we went out, we sat around the clock, literally sitting in like a one single story, 1-bedroom studio in Hollywood. And that's where all of us were crashing, and we were working around the clock with the manufacturer to make sure that all of the samples were right. They were ready to be shown to the world and to the buyers that were attending. And on my end, making sure that we had the supplies, the materials, the whole manufacturing part of it to be able to make small batch and bigger batch production runs for it. So all of it was put together in the course of maybe about 20 days. No sleep, very little sleep, and making sure that we were ready for this trade show. Got the marketing materials for it, you name it, we were ready to showcase. So then the day comes around, the big day for us. And during this big day, we were just so excited and to be able to finally showcase the brand to the world. I mean, they had about, I think their booth ended up costing them 100,000 plus just to showcase for those 3 days. So our expectations going into this trade show were super high. I'm talking like extraordinarily high, because of the reason that they sold us on the fact that, look, we're gonna have NBA players, we're gonna have celebrities, we're gonna have influencers, rappers, DJs, you name it. The biggest buyers in Tilly's, Zoomies, Journeys, Macy's, JCPenney, all these big brands were mentioned to us in terms of like, hey, this is who we got, get ready, it's about to change the game. And that was, yeah, so we were in there, we were like kids, literally just ready to take advantage and soak up everything that we finally been working for. And the day of the trade show comes, and what ends up happening is we show up and they say, oh yeah, this is your team, you're gonna have a sales team who's gonna handle all the order taking. You guys are going to be there for any questions they ask about the brand, and so on and so forth. There was a lot of little details that came in as buyers came in. And big buyers came from big box retailers, boutiques, you name it, from all over the world. We were told that there was a couple of different boutiques that ended up booking up bags, a headphone line, everything we were selling as a package. And at the end of it, we were told that the sales agency was going to handle all the follow-up. We were pretty much just going to be order takers and being able to say, okay, let's go to production, let's make sure these styles look like the samples, and we're able to deliver. And at the end of those 3 days, the whole deal fell apart in terms of who was the distributor there. They had financial backers and all kinds of other people involved. The whole deal fell apart with everyone that was in attendance and that was a part of the distribution channel. So we were pretty much left off with us having no leads, no contacts, because the sales agency ended up taking all that. So we were pretty much just left to say, okay, cool, so now what? You know, and another thing that we learned while at that show is that all of the buyers were going to see the brands that had already booked the appointments there. So that means that a lot of the brands that had made appointments with different buyers during those 3 days were the ones that were getting the traffic and getting and closing on those sales. So to us, it was a big eye-opening moment when we realized that if you're ever going to go into a trade show, one, you never hire a sales agency to try to do your sales for you. I've seen it multiple times, not just with us, but also with other brands that are in attendance. They sometimes hire a sales agency, and that sales agency maybe brings them one lead. If they're lucky, they get like 1 or 2 leads that entire show, and hopefully it's enough to cover the cost of the sales agency, and you're pretty much left with the rest of the bill because they charge you to actually be your representative on top of the commissions they're making. So that was a big thing that we learned. And 2, before attending the trade show, make sure that you have a good lead system already implemented where you're inviting all these buyers, these influencers, these retailers to your actual booth to showcase your brand. All right, you don't want to go in there with the expectations that you're going to meet with everybody and that's where you're going to find everybody if you're already paying for the space. Meaning you don't just want to sit in a 10 by 10 booth waiting for a buyer or somebody to come and notice you, because there's all kinds of brands out there, and all those brands, the ones that are getting all the traffic are the ones that actually did the initial contact and conversation with the buyers that are coming to their booths. All right, so that is one of the biggest tips that I want to make sure that anybody looking into the trade show and actually attending one of these conventions and showcasing their brands, make sure you come in there with a list of appointments ready to close on some of these buyers. All right, you don't want it to leave up to fate that somebody's just going to stumble upon you and discover what you're selling, because they also come with budgets, and those budgets they need to allocate accordingly to the appointments and the brands that they are interested in already. And more importantly, before you even decide to attend one of these shows, just make sure that you guys are owning everything that you're doing. Meaning that the team, the core team that you have is you, and you guys are counting on each other to execute. Don't try to bring in other outside parties or other outside people to try to do that for you. It's not going to work out the best, guys. Got all kinds of stories for you, but in this one I just want to leave it very short and leave you guys with that point to really focus on. And another one that I want to share is just make sure you attend the shows prior to actually showcasing and exhibiting at the shows. So what I mean is make sure you go in and actually attend the show as a visitor, as a buyer, as a PR, as somebody. Get into the shows that you want to showcase at, so you know how the layouts are, you know what to expect, and you could also network with a lot of the people that are already there. I think that's one of the biggest things that you could take away from attending a show, is just networking with others that are already there, that can share some experiences with you, that could maybe introduce you to a few people that are in the industry you're looking to get into. There's all kinds of courses, workshops, and things for you to do at these things. So take advantage of actually attending the show before you exhibit there. All right, so for those of you guys that are signed up to the insider list, you may have noticed that I sent out an invitation to the Magic convention here in Las Vegas, and unfortunately I wasn't able to take so many, like everybody that ended up messaging me back. So it kind of went in a first come first served basis, and but make sure that you guys are signed up and that you're looking into those emails, because there's going to be a lot more events and opportunities coming up this year. All right, and make sure you subscribe to this channel, share this video with a friend who's thinking about attending a trade show, and more importantly, make sure you check out the 4 tips that I have for you all that are actually going to attend a trade show. There's 4 great tips here to make the most of your time and money. And more than anything, comment down below with any questions that you guys have, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Let's get it. Bye.